So let's be honest, it's a fact that in order to survive in social media, you need to have consistent content. But not just any content will do. You really need to have content that is engaging but catches your audience within minutes. Now, content that is too long can become boring and lose your visitors' interest, and what ends up happening is they'll simply go to your competitors. Now, the big problem number one is that not everyone can create content. In other words, if you don't have that artistic or creative ability to write content, then I have good news that it doesn't really matter anymore. Now you can create simple images that are super engaging. Problem number two, not everyone is, of course, a graphic artist either. So what if there was a way to create daily content in less than 10 minutes? Is that even possible? So I want to talk about a 9-part step-by-step video course that shows you how to create super simple but powerful content for Facebook, for Pinterest, and for Instagram. Now, this course was designed to help you basically watch over my shoulder, step by step, click by click, to ensure that you're able to successfully and effectively create simple content quick. So here's a quick video's overview of what's inside this video course. Video number one is the introduction. We're going to talk about getting in the right mindset. We're going to give you a quick overview of the course, and we'll talk about what you need to have to get started. Video number two, we're going to talk about how to analyze your audience. One big mistake that a lot of people make in terms of content marketing is they simply jump in, start creating content, and then they wonder why the content isn't getting engagement. So before you can do any of that, you need to understand your audience. And while you may think that you know your audience, we need to dive deeper and analyze that. So we're going to talk about that in video number two. And then video number three, we're going to talk about expanding upon that to figure out what other interests are your audience interested in. So what other topics and things like that can allow you to broaden your horizon and create more content. Video number four, we're going to talk about where do they hang out, understanding where your audience likes to go, pages they like to visit, things like that is crucial. Video number five, we're going to talk about powerful images and where you can go about finding them. Video number six, we're going to talk about powerful words and how you can go find them as well. And of course, last but not least, we'll take all that information in video number seven and we'll show you how to go about creating these simple pieces of content really, really fast. And of course, in video number eight, we're going to talk about how you can go about organizing that content. And of course, video number nine, we'll talk about how to auto schedule that content to go out to your social media sites. So go ahead and grab this video course and we'll see you on the inside. Hello and congratulations on getting access to this video course on social media content marketing. So we're going to talk about a super easy, super simple content marketing strategy that you can implement to create content in the form of images that will not only attract your audience, but get them to engage with your content as well. So let's go ahead and dive in. So this is the introduction to simple social content. Now, before we jump in, I want to talk briefly about mindset because I want to make sure that you're in the right mindset before we get started. You see, there are all sorts of content marketing out there, but the goal here is to keep it simple with captivating images and a short but powerful message. And I'm going to show you what I mean in just a second. So in other words, we're going to keep it short and simple. The second goal is to mimic, not necessarily copy or plagiarize what's out there, but to mimic what works. So we're going to take a look at content out there that is getting high engagement and how you can kind of replicate it as well. So what I want to do now is give you a quick overview of what's inside this video course. Of course, this is video number 1, which is the introduction. Video number 2, we're going to analyze your audience. So before we can go ahead and create content, it's crucial to analyze your audience and get an idea of their similar interests in video number 3. Video number 4, we're going to find out where do they hang out. And of course, video number 4, we're going to talk about where do they hang out because that's important. Video number 5, we'll talk about magazines. What kind of images inspire them? And magazines are a great place to find images that intrigue, that engage, and that attract your audience. And video number 6, we're going to talk about powerful words that you can use in your images. Video number 7, we're going to talk about creating them. And of course, video number 8, we're going to talk about organizing your content images. And of course, last but not least, number 9, we're going to talk about auto scheduling to make sure that your life is going to be a lot easier. You don't have to sit at the computer every single day posting these images. Okay, so let's talk about what you need to do to get started. Obviously, you're going to need to know what you're going to sell. You'll definitely need to have the social media presences, such as Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and more. Now, you specifically want to target social media sites that are image friendly. So for example, Instagram, most people simply post images. Facebook, you can post content, but images are really good. And Pinterest as well. You also need to have a brief idea of your audience. It doesn't need to be exact for now. We'll clarify that. But have a brief idea. Start painting a picture of what your audience looks like. And we talked about social sites. And of course, you'll need some money for apps to automate your scheduling. And of course, if you're low on money, you can definitely post the images and content yourself without scheduling them. With that said, let's move on to the next video. Hello and welcome back. This is video number 2. And in this video, we're going to talk about analyzing your audience. So like I said beforehand, before you can go ahead and create content, which is what most people do, you need to have a good picture of who your audience is, what their dislikes are, what their likes are, and all of that. So what we're going to do here is we're going to be using a tool that's free called Facebook Audience Insights. And what this tool is it's a very powerful tool that has tons of data on your audience. And it'll allow us to gain a clearer view of your demographics, who it is, are they male or female, are they a certain age, what do they like, what do they do not like, and things like that. So we're going to keep it simple and give you some real life examples, and it's not going to be complex. All right, so let's jump right in. Okay, so right now I am at the Facebook Audience Insights, and to get to this page, all you need to do is simply go to facebook.com/ads/audience-insights. You'll log into your Facebook account and you'll be able to access this page. Now, if you want a direct link and the link changes, you can always go to google.com and simply type in Facebook Audience Insights, and it'll direct you to that specific page. Okay, so what this tool does, like I said, is it allows you to analyze your audience. And we want to have a more granular, very specific idea of who that might be. Now, when you start this up, you're going to see it says choose an audience to start. You can do everyone on Facebook, which is what we're going to do, or you can have the option of people who are connected to your page. Now, if you do have a Facebook fan page, this is nice to have because this will give you an idea of exactly who your audience is that is connected to your page. Now, in this example, we're going to choose everyone on Facebook. And there we go. Now, by default, it will most likely list your location. If we want to target a person of a specific location, you will enter that here. Then you can enter the minimum age to the maximum age. Now, we don't want to do this just yet. What I normally do is we scroll down and we enter an interest. And based upon that, we will get a better idea of the demographics. So let's say, for example, people that are interested in a specific arts and crafts. Let's say, for example, knitting. So we're going to enter knitting. So we see that here. We're going to select that. And we see this over here. So as you can see, I did not choose any of this. I simply entered the keyword and then I got this information here. So based upon Facebook is saying that there are about 5 to 6 million people in the United States of America that are interested in knitting. Now you can change that location to something like Australia, to Canada, to a different location. But for now, we're simply just interested in the types of people. So the demographics here, we can see that the age and gender, 88% are women and 12% are men. So based upon this, we can see that knitting, it's mostly women. All right. So because it's mostly women, we are going to want to target women. So the images that we have need to attract women. Now, if it's 50-50, you might want to choose images that are specific to that interest. So when we take a look at the age, we can see that even though it's women, the majority of them are actually in the 25 all the way down to 64 and more. So we got 19%, 20%, 19%, 19%, 17%. Now this is 7%, which tells us that the age group from 18 to 24 is a little bit interested, but not as much. In fact, we can see for males is 30% here, which I would never have known. And that's why guessing who your audience is, whether they're male or female, and all of that information by yourself is actually quite dangerous. So you really need to use this tool. So we can see relationship status. We can see that the majority of them are married. The majority of them have a college education level. We can see job title. We can see that the majority of them are 31% administrative services. The second one is sales, and the third one is management. So this allows us to kind of paint a picture. Now, if you want to zoom in on a specific age group and gender, you can simply click that area of the block. So let's say, for example, that we want to focus on people that are 25 to 34, or actually let's pick the one that's highest, 20%, 35 to 44. So if you click that, what Facebook will do is it'll hone in on this specific group. Now, when we click that, we can see that about 900,000 to about 1 million people are in this specific group. Now, if we scroll down, we can see it's about the same: married, college education level, administration services, management. And that's interesting because remember we saw sales being one of the third highest. When we look at this specific group, we can see that it is non-existent. So what you want to do here is simply write down what you see. So we're going to talk about page likes and all of this in a different video. But for now, let's keep it simple. Hello and welcome to video number 4. We're going to talk about where do they hang out. Now, you had a brief idea by looking at the page likes, but what we want to do is we want to dig further and take a look at how people are engaging with different pages that are similar affinities. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to these pages, we're going to review the content, the images, what people are reacting to, and how they are commenting. All right, so let's go ahead and do that right now. Okay, so we're back to the Facebook Audience Insights, and what you want to do is simply go back to the page likes page, and what we want to do is look at the top categories. Now, what Facebook has done here is it gives you an idea of all the things that the audience is interested in. So for example, what media or news company do they listen to or look at? What are they interested in terms of publishers? It says boutique stores. What do they go to in terms of shopping? What do they eat? What do they drink? What education websites do they go to learn something about knitting, maybe? Where do they go for games and toys? What websites do they visit? So now, these may not necessarily be related to knitting, but it will give us an idea of where they go to hang out. So we can see that these people like recipes. So we see recipes, we see that they like to save money in terms of coupons. Crockpot Girl is a website for someone who's interested in quick, simple, easy meals with a crock pot. And Scary Mommy is a blog for mothers. So this gives us an idea of the different categories that they're interested in. So what I would recommend that you go ahead and do is simply open up a few of these that stand out to you and go to those pages. Okay, so we clicked on The Spruce, which is a Facebook fan page, and we can see that it has a website, but it also has a bunch of images and videos and content that we can take a look at. So what I would recommend that you do is take a look at the images that stand out. So we can see gardening, we can see some videos, so we can see that The Spruce, there's a lot of things about animals, there's a lot of things about different types of recipes. So what you're looking for is patterns, essentially, in the form of images. So when you create your content, you could create content with images like this. And it doesn't necessarily have to be related to knitting. What we're simply trying to do is engage the audience. So if you were to have a Facebook fan page about knitting, you could simply also have images of dogs, images of gardening or recipes, and other things, simply to engage your audience, because it's what they're interested in. So if we continue to scroll down, we can click on photos or videos. I like to click on photos. So we can see quotes, lots of quotes, and that's one of the pieces of content that we will be creating later down the road. So we're just simply scrolling through and taking a look at the images, and we can see there are tons and tons and tons and tons of images with quotes, and most of these are simply blue background with words on top. Now you can improve this and make it better. So by going through the images, this allows you to get some ideas on different images with words that you can create as well. Now, what we want to do now is take a look at perhaps the images that are getting a lot of engagement. So for example, we can see this one here has about 45 likes, 388 comments. And as we're going through, what I notice is that the ones with the blue backgrounds, for the most part, actually have a lot more engagement. And that's interesting. So let's go to another page. So this one's called Parents. So this gives us an idea that the people that we're targeting, we saw that earlier, it was 88% women. Maybe many of them are mothers. So we wanted to go down and click on Photos again. And we wanted to scroll down further. We can see a lot of images with quotes. That's great. And if you find an image that is getting a lot of likes and comments, you can look at them and maybe not necessarily plagiarize or copy, but find a really good image that fits this and perhaps rewrite the quote. So what we're doing here is we're not necessarily copying, but we're finding what works and simply creating the content based upon that. So what you want to do is you want to go through all of these different pages and do what we are doing right now. Jot things down on notepad or paper and get an idea of what different images you want to use.